Awesome, guys. So we have on live, we have Omar, and the last name, how do you pronounce it? Just so I don't say it incorrectly for the fans.
It's Abdel Rahim.
Abdel Rahim in the house today, and I wanted to bring you live to share your experience with our coaching program, Omar. So, real quick, before we get started, just briefly explain to those watching what it is that you do and who do you serve.
Okay, sure, yeah. So basically, I'm a government mentor, coach, and consultant, and I basically help companies do business with the government.
Sweet. And before the Boost Mastery program, Omar, what have you tried before?
You know what? I've tried several things. I've done some stuff that where I thought was effective, which wasn't. I've reached out to other people in this space. And I didn't really see much results, to be honest. I saw very little results. And I've hired other marketing companies and haven't really seen a lot of impact. It was very minor.
Gotcha. When you joined the Boost Mastery programs, Omar, what did you immediately recognize that you needed to fix in your business?
Well, there were several things. I think the first thing is that for the first time we really started talking about the avatar identification and like really understanding what marketing is, right? And this is the core of it. And so it was an educational process for me where I learned how do I actually start. Like my go to market strategy was fragmented at best, right? And so basically, when we started going down this road with you guys, it was interesting because then I was like, oh, okay, so that's my avatar. So that's my avatar. So we identified all the different potential avatars. And then basically, then we said, well, how do we reach out to them and what kind of messaging is going to resonate with them? And then what kind of campaigns or marketing is going to work the best for them? And so prior to that, those really weren't points of discussion.
Sweet. And once you completed, and as we were going through it, right, there's been a lot of changes you've done in your business. What differences did you start to see, and what changes did you make inside of your business through our training?
Right. So some of the things that the differences that I noticed is one, I didn't really have an identity, as far as the program that I wanted to offer. Right. So then we came up with a brand, right, which is the government QB. And if you can see right now, I'm actually wearing the jersey, and I'm in a stadium right now, and I got the logo up here, right there.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
So it's up there. So none of this was really around prior to meeting the Funnelbolt team and going through the Boost Academy. So now when I'm in meetings, it automatically gets recognition. Like, oh, wait a minute, how did you do that? And then, so then all of a sudden, I'm standing out from the crowd. You know, so people are noticing that okay, you're different, and because of that, they're more willing to have an in-depth conversation because they're seeing a different level of professionalism and as far as presentation is concerned, is beyond anyone they've met. I mean, how many people do you meet with for a coaching consultation is coming from a stadium with a jersey, right? With energy that matches it.
What kind of reactions have you gotten from the people who have seen your brand?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, because I teach classes that have 50 companies, and as I'm a disabled veteran, and so I've been an instructor in these courses since 2017, and this year since I started doing that, the entire class, they all commented to the to the organizers of the sessions, and so they had extremely positive feedback, like wow, and they remember me. So you gotta they're going through a boot camp for several days, and I think there's something like I think there's 30 classes or 20 to 30 classes, so there's about 15 to 20 different instructors,
Yeah.
but they remember the government QB sitting in the stadium.
Nice.
right? So I mean, what's the mission of marketing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Awesome. Love it.
be remembered.
So you've gotten awesome feedback from the people who've seen your brand, and now they remember you across, hundreds of others who do the exact same thing. And for you, that means a lot because one new customer for your business can be potentially, a couple $1,000s of revenue, right?
Oh yeah, well actually, to be honest, I mean for some clients it could be as much as hundreds of thousands. So in my line of work, it's not really about quantity;
Yeah.
it's about the quality of that customer. Because a
And that
handful of
relationship.
it's really relationship driven, right? And so there's a lot of trust and credibility. And so if I'm competing against people like me, we're saying similar things,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like, wait a minute, you have a dog barking in the background, and your lighting is not that good,
Yeah.
and
That's what they remember.
you're wearing a jersey, you have a stadium in the background. Hey, can you? And I've actually had people say, Omar, can you help me set up my studio like you? And they've been doing this for over a decade. Well, I've been doing it for 13 years, but for them, they're like, dude, I don't have that. How do I do that? What is that? How do I get that?
Mhm.
And so now, believe it or not, I actually had a meeting with another instructor from that same boot camp course that is funded by the Small Business Administration and Lockheed Martin. They get millions of dollars to put on this class, right?
Nice.
So those instructors are asking me, dude, how do you do that? And I'm actually helping one of them to actually do it.
Awesome. Which once again is a relationship that you're building, which then he has access to potentially hundreds of other people that can also do business with you, which is the whole idea around everything you do. It's just you're sticking out across hundreds, and people just are attracted to that, right? It's
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
they
yeah,
want that personality, they want that passion, and you have that all across the board. You check all the X's there.
Well, it helps to stand out once again. It's a crowded playing field over there, right? No pun intended. I'm in a playing field, but essentially, they're like, wait a minute, that looks different. That's not what I'm used to seeing on a Zoom call. This is at a different level, right? And then as long as you can back it up with similar, like if your proposal is professional, your mechanism to manage their process is professional, then they know this is not a game.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this is real deal. It's a level of
You're
professionalism here.
backing your branding with fulfillment, and you're basically, you're walking the walk. You're not just talking the talk. So that's
Right. But I was missing this piece. So I mean, prior to you guys, I didn't have this. So I mean, I would get on a Zoom call with a webcam, which is trash, right? And it just didn't present well. Then once this happened, I got a camera, it's studio, the lighting. People started to look at it differently.
sweet. Talk to me about your offer before and after. So you came to us with your business model, right?
Mhm.
Talk about how your offer, the evolution of your offer from where you had it before to now.
Yeah. So to be honest, I really was not clear on my offer, right? I would give this person that person that offer, and I just wasn't clear on, to be honest, what really is an offer, you know. And so through this process, I've learned, not one, who the avatar is and what offers would resonate with that avatar, right? And then on top of that, with offers, it's not just about having an offer, it's knowing when to present it and how to present it,
Mhm.
right? So, I mean, you could have the right offer and present it at the wrong time in the wrong way, and nothing happens, right? So, just as an example, I would ask companies what was their budget.
Mhm.
And I learned from this exercise is that that's probably not, most companies may not even have a budget in mind, right? And then it would delay the process, right? And so, it's just a matter of saying the same thing in different ways. Hey, so how much money do you think something like this would cost you?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would say, well, I'm guessing it's probably about, $4,000 or $5,000. Well, what if I told you it was 2,500?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait a minute. Well, that's a respectable offer.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's attractive, right? So
Since
it's different.
changing your and how you've productized your offer and how you're positioning yourself and offering it to the market, what kind of results have you seen since then?
Yeah, so the offer is clear, right? And so I think one of the issues that I was facing was that I would have people sign up, right? But after getting to work with them, I realized they were just not the right fit, right? They would take it because I adjusted the offer accordingly. So I learned that I can't do that because it's not going to look well when I'm not able to deliver results or help them get results that they're anticipating or that they're perceived to get, right? So, but now I'm learning if I focus in on the key avatars, right, and I offer it up properly, then they typically jump on it, and then now they're actually, like, well, yeah, I wasn't getting anywhere near this before, so now I get it, and the ones that I have now, now they're the relationship is starting to expand,
Mm-hmm.
right, and so which puts it at a different level. So in answer to your question, it's definitely narrowed down because I was extremely busy and trying to do things for companies that just really weren't the right fit, but I was just trying to make it work rather than finding the one that actually fits, is in alignment with what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's synergetic. So
And
from that
the
perspective,
idea behind that, right, is so you get the most production out of your time because we all have only so much of it. And so rather than spending your time spinning your wheels on the maybes or the, what ifs, right, you're going more and sifting through finding the gold and focusing on the ones that value your time and attention, right, where there's production there. And by having a conversation, potentially a sale and a big sale, may happen in your case, right? Because every industry is different, but in your case, your product is high ticket. So I think you're now getting a lot more production out of your time, especially because we've systemized and automated a lot of the delivery and the fulfillment of your pipeline, right? By delivering
mm-hmm.
different things, right? So let me ask you this, Omar. Looking back to when you first started with us, what are a few like before and after, like either revenue, customers, tangible metrics in your business? Like, we went from this to that. Just anything you can give us as far as before and after that you can think of.
Yeah, so now the companies that I coach, mentor, and consult have a higher they do more business. They're higher valued, and they understand the value of my service, and hence that relationship. The amount of business or leads and activity that they're getting versus before me was, way is just a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of that also resonates from what I learned from the Boost Academy because I'm sharing some of my knowledge with them, and they're like, Omar, we don't know these things.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you learn this from, right? And so and how do you know it? You know, so there's certain knowledge, before and after. Before I did not have, but now we start having avatar conversations, which I didn't, to be honest. I mean, I call it demographic, but the common word is avatar.
Yeah.
So I was even using the wrong word, right? But now I'm using the right word, and now people are like, oh yeah, avatar. Yeah, this is my
Which
avatar, man.
which a point there, Omar, a confused buyer doesn't buy. So if you're saying something they don't understand, like maybe the word demographic versus avatar, that
Mm.
alone can feel like you may not know what you're doing.
Correct.
Because if they
Correct.
don't understand, then a confused buyer doesn't buy. You see?
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
being able to simplify it to a way they can understand it, consume it, and value it, in turn, increasing your product's value, in turn, increasing your closing percentage. because it makes you sophisticated over everybody else. Like this guy knows what he's talking about. I've spoken to another 10 others and they don't got what Omar's got. And the
Yeah.
branding is just the cherry on top.
Right, yeah, the branding. And so it's interesting about the branding is that and I think I mentioned it to you guys, but like I was interviewed on PBS back about 4 years ago on a business show, and so the producer of that show has been hounding me for some time, but now he wants to do a TV show on PBS, and then he was like, you know what, I love this government QB gig. You know, it's catchy, it's easy to remember, it's different, you know, and you know you're sitting in a stadium, you know, and so you're you know it's kind of like this really stuffy old school culture that is now given some kind of life. You know, it's a different. So anyway, even he was like, "Oh yeah, I love this government QB thing," and so even he's mentioned that this is catchy. So this is a TV show producer, right?
Nice.
So
Next thing
so
you know,
it,
Omar has his own TV show.
Yeah, well, actually, that's the point. He wants to have he's going to be my TV show. He
If
wants me
you
to be
get a
the host.
sponsor from him, you got to remember, you know, the little guys down here.
Yeah. There you go, man.
Become a
Absolutely.
celebrity, government QB, right? You got to remember,
Right.
you know, where it
Oh
all
yeah, we'll have Funnelbolt Boost Academy. You know,
sponsored by.
sponsored by. There you go.
Awesome, Omar. Well, if you were to tell anybody about this program, what would you tell them and who would you recommend this for?
Yes, that's a very good question. So the reality is anyone who needs marketing in their business, and I don't know who doesn't, right? So that's number one. You really need to understand what is marketing, how to understand what marketing is strategically, and then how to break it down into consumable or executable actions
Mhm.
that make sense, right? So the type of individuals or companies that this would be good for is that, you know, companies who need clients, basically, you need to have new clients or even grow existing clients, which could be anything. So, you know, I mean, literally, I was a one man show. Now I have a couple of people that I've hired, you know. But so even mom and pop shops. So I don't know who wouldn't use the service, just because there's a lot of really valuable information you're gonna learn that I don't even know how to describe it.
Awesome. Awesome. And the beauty of something you learn is that no one can take it away from you, right? So it's
Absolutely.
forever and ever and ever. And even if you decide to create a second business, things you're learning from this business can be applied there as well. And now you have, you know, the know-how as to how to build, systemize, find your avatar, get the product market fit, build a system that's streamlined around that. And now you know the magic of building a system that is streamlined that allows you to be more efficient with your time, right? With a software like Funnelbolt behind you that's backing you up, right? Set up with automations triggered on different deal stages based on the where your avatar is in your pipeline, right? So if they're just coming in, you're going to speak to them differently than if they've been in there for 2 weeks, right? And so
Right.
things like that, going into that granular level, I think is what's made your business, especially what you do, literally one of the only type of businesses in its kind, right? Because there's hundreds, probably, I don't want to say hundreds of people that do what you do, but I would say there's definitely competition. And you compare to them, there's no question that you have a much more sophisticated solution. Plus, to the consumer buying your services, to them, it feels more of an experience, more of a complete experience because you're not allowing any leaks in your business any longer, right? So at any and every stage of your business, there's something that is being delivered or consumed, right, or pending, uh, due to the fact that you want to make sure that no lead is left behind. And I think we're pretty much there. And at this point, it's now just figuring out, what your next step is, which is scaling, bringing more people into your business to take it to the next level, which will consist of, different ads and building a team and things like that, which is the next step in your business. So we're excited to take you there. I appreciate your feedback and your time, Omar, and we're excited to take you to the next level.
Let's do it, man. I'm loving the
Awesome.
journey.
Awesome.